I became involved with Girls on the Run through my running group, Black Girls Run. One of my soul sisters was a coach at one of the schools on the east side, and she told me how much fun she had encouraging the girls, and the girls really enjoyed seeing a woman of color teaching them about running and the curriculum. So she mentioned that we needed more women of color with Girls on the Run, and that's what hooked me, so I signed up the next season. I have been with Girls on the Run, this will be my 11th season. I guess we'll put the COVID caveat in there. I have been at several different sites. I've been at Woodridge Elementary, Lamar Elementary, Maverick Elementary, and Steuben Elementary. I've seen similarities in the different sites where the girls who already know each other gravitate toward each other, and the ones that don't know each other kind of drift off to the side. But once the curriculum gets going and the girls are introduced to each other, they tend to form friendships that they probably wouldn't have formed outside of Girls on the Run. My personal experience with Girls on the Run has been amazing. Not only to be in front of the girls and teaching them the curriculum, but realizing that the curriculum isn't just for them, it's also for me. I find myself during my daily life thinking, what would a go-to girl do in this type of situation? So it's helped me out a lot. The stand-byer lesson is the one that affects me the most. I really wish I had had that kind of lesson when I was growing up, as I would see friends getting bullied and I couldn't do anything about it, or I didn't know how to do anything about it. The stand-byer lesson is something that I will take with me through the rest of my life and hopefully teach other girls as I run into them. I've taught it to my niece because I just think it's such a valuable lesson in this day and time. My first site, Woodridge, which is where I coached the longest, I had repeat girls. They came back for several seasons. So I was able to talk to them season to season to see how the lessons were impacting them at home or at school. I had one young lady tell me that she had a friend outside of Girls on the Run that would always make fun of her and make fun of other girls in class, outside of class. And I asked her, what did you do about it? She said, well, I thought about Girls on the Run, and I just had to tell her, you know what, that's not right. That's not a best friend quality. So, and that's one of the lessons, not being a best friend doesn't mean you have the most friends. It means that you portray the qualities of a best friend, being grateful, having gratitude, listening, not making fun of other people, standing up for other people. So this young lady was able to stand up for herself and others to her friend, and she said her friend really took it to heart and she changed too. I have seen the program impact families outside of Girls on the Run through the family becoming more active. I run in a lot of local races around town, and there have been several races where I've seen a former go-to girl and her family at the race. And I'll just hear, Coach Laurie, look who's here. It's my mom, it's my dad, and we're all doing this race together. And that's huge, because some of these parents have never done a 5K before doing the Girls on the Run 5K. So to see them outside of Girls on the Run and doing it, absolutely amazing. If their girl has already been through the curriculum and they've seen the changes in her, just mentioning, hey, you know what, if you were to become involved with this, you could be impacting other girls around the city just like your little girl was impacted. What keeps me coming back to Girls on the Run is it satisfies the teacher in me. That was supposed to be my occupation, but I chose a different path. So Girls on the Run helps me be that teacher that I wanted to be. I also come back hopefully to see repeat girls, to see how they've changed from season to season, to see how they can help out, bring in other girls and make other young ladies feel more comfortable with the curriculum, help teach them some of the lessons that they've learned, and to see other girls new to the curriculum grow within it, to see them come out of their shyness, to see them become friends with girls they probably would have never met before. Just to see those life changes in them is what keeps me coming back. I think the impacts that the program has on the community are, again, the friendships that the girls have developed, and hopefully they will carry those on through middle school and high school, and throughout their lives. The community seeing the 5K and bringing all those girls together along with their families, it's a huge impact. And hopefully they'll see that the girls are learning and growing and becoming healthy at the same time. And that's something that this community really needs. My favorite all-time moment was at a season-ending 5K. And one of my young ladies was one of the very last girls to get close to the finish line. So I went out to find her so I could bring her in, help encourage her. And I kind of looked in her eyes when she saw me, and she just looked like she wanted to run. But she was afraid to run because she didn't want to leave her parents, because they were not runners at all. So I was like, hey, how are you doing? You okay? We're almost at the finish line. And she looked at me. She said, is it okay if I run? I said, it certainly is. So she turned back and looked at her mom and dad. She said, Mom and Dad, is it okay if I run with Coach Laurie? They looked really relieved that they didn't have to do it. So they said, go for it. So we ran towards the finish line. As we got close, I just peeled off to the side and let her have that crossing the finish line moment all to herself. And that was one of the most heart-moving, amazing, exciting moments of my Girls on the Run career. A special impact moment with another coach would be Coach T. And she is my soul sister through Black Girls Run. And I came up with this silly notion one day, although I said I would never do it, I decided I was going to run a full marathon. So I floated this idea to a couple of people. They're like, nope, you're on your own, you gotta go. So I got a couple of girls to say yes, and they backed out. Coach T found out that they backed out. She said, I got you. And she trained with me every weekend through miles of sweat and rain and tears, and we ran our first full marathon together. For the girls that are thinking about the physical aspect of Girls on the Run, that say, oh, I'm not built like a runner, I don't look like a runner, I tell them, do I look like I'm a runner? And I had one girl say, no way. And I was like, thanks a lot, but here's my point. Runners come in all shapes and sizes, and you can do whatever your mind tells you you can do. So if you're afraid of running, just start out with walking. We'll walk a little bit, then we'll run a little bit. I was fortunate enough to have a school where we had a track. So we would walk the straightaways and jog the curves. I was like, doesn't that take out a little bit of the fear for you? You don't have to run the whole time. I don't. So once they saw that, you could break it up into little pieces, running wasn't really as daunting as they thought. Life in the curriculum and running and anything else in the girls' lives, hopefully they'll see that any big project that they have to take on, just like running, can be broken down into little pieces. If they have a huge school project that's coming up, maybe think about it in little sections so that way it's not so scary. They may think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to finish this, I can't do this. Well, if you just take it part by part, finish one section, hey, you know what, that wasn't so bad, let me move on to the next one. Any project in life can be looked at with breaking it down, analyzing it, and just taking it step by step. One of the things that I bring to the girls is to let them know especially in the first couple of sessions where some of the girls may not know each other, is how thrilling it is to meet a new person. I am a proud military brat, and I went to about 7 different schools from elementary school to high school. So I was constantly being the new girl, constantly meeting new people. But I told them that through meeting new people, I've developed friendships that carry on to this day. And hopefully them seeing that breaks the ice. Like, okay, well, if Coach Laurie and Coach T can make friends with different people, Coach Carla can make friends with different people, it won't be so bad for me to meet somebody here and work with them as we go through the program. It gives the girls something to do, one, after school. It keeps the girls healthy because we're always in motion. And it also is teaching the girls life lessons that they may not normally get. And now we're empowering young women once they come out of elementary school, middle school, and high school, college, to be our next leaders. And Girls on the Run is definitely the program that does that. So if the community were to back that, they're only setting the community up for a win, because we're going to have a bunch of young women coming out that are ready to take charge. I think the fact that there are no boys, and I think the girls like that too, is because it's less intimidating, and it's more fun to be around just girls and to learn and grow through the program. And a lot of the girls are like, oh wow, you know what, I'm learning to run faster than my little brother or my older brother. So there's a little bit of competition in there, and I think that's something that makes it unique. I think one story actually has to deal with the coaches. Again, I said I run a lot of the local races, and the coaches that I coach with now, are the little core group, have been at all these races before we knew each other. So once we started coaching together, like, hey, I remember you and your group. So now we're on text messages and emails. Hey, are you running this race? Are you going to run this race? Will I see you there? Yes, I'll be there. All right, I'll be there. I'll cheer you on. We're going to do energy awards afterwards. And I am not the fastest runner, and that's okay. So most of the coaches are at the finish line before me, but they're there when I finish, and I can hear them yelling, go Laurie, way to go, you got this. So that's being able for the grown-ups to embody some of the traits of a Girls on the Run from the curriculum. I think that's awesome. I just think that if you have the time, you should volunteer to be a coach for at least one season. That was my plan, one season, and look at me now. I'm season on season 11. You will just fall in love with the program. You just got to jump in with both feet and do it. Well, I've had one young lady for about 4 seasons at Woodridge Elementary. And to see her grow, she was in the program with her sister, her older sister, and the older sister took the limelight. So once her older sister aged out of it, this young lady started to grow because she was no longer in her sister's shadow. So to see the change from season 1 to season 4 was spectacular. And now I see her at several races, and she's usually one of the medal winners for the younger age groups. And she's like, Coach Laurie, I did it. I beat my brother and I beat my sister. And I was like, hey, you've been training for this. And it just feels good to see a girl from a few seasons ago still remember you, and hopefully still remember the impact that you had on her. Happy 10-year anniversary, Girls on the Run, Bear County.